The wind screamed across the icy plains of Isseranine. Snow fell like sharp needles, blinding and cold. Nothing moved outside. The storm had taken over the world. Inside a broken metal shelter, an alien mother sat on the frozen floor. Her name was Zaya. Her skin was pale blue, her eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. She held her baby close, wrapped in a torn blanket made from her own clothes. The baby's name was Luma. She was small, too small for her age. Her breathing was weak, slow, and shallow. Zaya touched her baby's cheek. It felt cold. Too cold. Hold on, little star, Zaya whispered. Please. There was no one left to help. The storm had cut off all signals. The food was gone. The heating unit was broken. The fire had died 2 days ago, and now, Luma was dying too. Zaya looked at the snow-covered ceiling. Once, this shelter had been part of a science outpost. Now, it was a grave. Her people had escaped the war, only to die here on a forgotten planet. She pressed her forehead too. Lumas, a tear fell onto the baby's skin. I'm sorry. Mama can't fix this. Outside, the blizzard roared louder. The walls of the shelter shook. Zai. Ya knew the old traditions. On her homeworld, when someone was close to death, a song was sung, a last song, a goodbye, a guide for the soul. She had not sung in a long time. Her voice was broken, weak, but now, it was all she had left. She closed her eyes. The melody came back slowly, soft and haunting. Sleep now, child of stars. The light will find your path. The winds may cry, the dark may rise, but love will last. Her voice echoed inside the cold room. The baby's eyes fluttered. She was listening. Maybe hearing her mother's song gave her peace. Then something changed. A strange sound came from outside. Not the wind. Something heavy. Footsteps. Zaya froze. Her song stopped. She crawled to the broken door and peeked out through a crack. Nothing. Just white snow. Moving shadows. The storm. But then, a shape appeared. Tall. Walking slowly. Against the storm. No, Zaya whispered. That's not possible. The figure came closer. Covered in thick, old armor. A helmet with a cracked visor. A long coat blowing in the wind. It was shaped like a human. Zaya backed away, holding Luma tight. Humans were gone. Wiped out after the last war. Everyone knew that. And yet, the door creaked. It opened. The figure stepped inside. Steam rose from his body. Snow melting instantly from his suit. His face was hidden. He carried a strange pack and a long tool in one hand. He said nothing. Zaya stood in front of her baby, ready to defend her with her bare hands. The stranger raised one hand slowly, not a weapon. He opened his palm and showed her something small. A heat capsule. Zaya looked at it, confused. Then, he dropped it near her and stepped back. From his pack, he pulled out 2 more, food rations and a medical kit. He didn't speak. He pointed to the baby. Then to the med-kit. Zaya. Single quotes. Heart was racing. Was this a trick? A trap? But her baby needed help. She made her choice. She opened the kit and scanned the baby. The device beeped, then injected a small dose of nanomeds. Luma coughed, then breathed. Zaya cried again, this time from hope. The stranger walked to the corner of the shelter and started building a small fire, using strange tech. Soon, the room began to warm. Still, he said nothing. Zaya looked at him, shivering not from cold, but from fear and confusion. Who are you? She asked softly. The stranger turned his head toward her, and for the first time he spoke. Just 3 words. I heard singing. Zaya's breath caught in her throat, in the middle of the deadliest storm. With no signal, no sound. Someone heard her song. Someone came, a human. For 10 long minutes. No one spoke. The fire crackled softly. The wind outside howled like ghosts. Inside the small shelter, warmth returned, but fear remained. Zaya sat close to her baby, watching the man. He had taken off his helmet now, but his face was hidden under a thick scarf and frost goggles. Only his jaw showed pale skin. Human. Real. Alive. Impossible. Humans were extinct. Every history book said so. Every survivor she met believed it. The war had ended over 50 years ago. No human had been seen since. Yet here he was. He sat across from her, near the fire, checking his strange old gear. His coat was stitched, repaired many times. His gloves were mismatched. A weapon was strapped to his back, but he never touched it. Zaya couldn't take it anymore. Are you real? She asked. The man looked up, as if confused. You're human, she said softly. He pulled down his scarf. His voice was calm, rough, like someone who had spoken too little for too long. I was, he said. Still am, I think. Zaya held her baby tighter. The man nodded toward Luma. She lived, but she needs food, warmth, rest. Zaya blinked. Why are you here? I heard a song. She stared. Through a blizzard. He nodded. That's not possible, she whispered. He didn't argue, just reached into his pack and pulled out something strange. A silver cube with soft glowing edges. He placed it on the ground. A small drone unfolded and began scanning the shelter. Old military tech, he explained. From Earth. Before the fall, Zaya's mind raced. I thought Earth was destroyed. It was, he replied. Parts of it. Then how did you survive? The man didn't answer. Instead, he opened a pouch and placed food rations near her. Eat, your body's failing. Zaya hesitated. She had trusted no one for years, but her child had taken the medicine. Her child was breathing again. So she opened the package and ate slowly. Your name? She asked Rin. Just Rin. He took off one glove. His fingers were scarred. Some metallic, a cybernetic hand. Old model. Military grade. Zai looked at her baby. Luma was asleep now, her small chest rising and falling gently. For the first time in weeks, Zaya felt the edge of fear lift. Thank you, she whispered. Rin didn't reply. He was already fixing the broken wall panel near the entrance. He worked like a soldier, fast, focused, silent. Zaya finally said, they said your kind were monsters, destroyers of worlds. Rin paused, then stood. Some were, not all. He stared out through the small gap in the wall. There's something else out there, he said. Zaya's heart skipped. What do you mean? I followed its tracks. Before I found you. What is it? Rin looked at her with calm, cold eyes. I don't know, but it's not human. And it's not friendly. Zaya suddenly felt cold again, not from the storm, but from something darker. The shelter was silent once more. Then, a sound outside. A sharp, high-pitched screech, like metal being torn. Rin grabbed his weapon. Zaya grabbed her baby. He moved to the door, slowly, listening. Then, he looked back at Zaya. You said no one else was here. She nodded. Then who's watching us from the ridge? Zaya felt her blood freeze. Rin took a slow breath and spoke, not with panic, but with certainty. Stay here. Don't make a sound. If I don't come back in 5 minutes, run. He put his helmet back on and stepped into the blizzard. The door closed. Zaya looked at her child, still sleeping. Outside, something screamed again. Something not human. It had been 17 minutes. Zaya sat still, not breathing too loud, not moving. The fire crackled quietly beside her. Her baby slept wrapped in layers, her small hand resting on Zaya's chest. But Zaya's eyes never left the shelter door. The human had not returned. Her mind screamed with fear, but her body stayed frozen like the ice outside. Then, suddenly, footsteps, heavy, slow, crunching the snow. Zaia stood up, holding her child, heart pounding. The door creaked open. It was Rin, alive but bleeding. A deep slash ran across his chest armor. Steam rose from the fresh wound. His coat was torn. He walked in silence, dropped something wrapped in cloth on the floor, and sat down heavily. Zai. You looked at the bundle. It was a claw. Long, black, sharp as a blade, dripping blue blood. That thing wasn't hunting food, Rin said, breathing hard. It was hunting voices. Zaya frowned. Voices. Rin looked at her. It followed your song. It heard it, just like I did. She shook her head. But why? He removed his helmet. His face was pale, jaw clenched. Because your song was not just sound. It was signal. Zaya sat down, her arms around Luma. Signal. Yes, Rin said. Old tech. From before the war, Earth experimented with empathic sound transmission. Music that could travel across layers of space. Zaya whispered. I was only singing for my baby. Rin nodded. And that's why it worked. Real emotion is harder to fake. Zaya felt a chill. Then, what was that creature? Rin was silent for a while. Then he said, not sure. But it had metal fused into its bones. Maybe leftover from war experiments. Maybe worse. He stared into the fire. I've seen things like that before. Things the galaxy chose to forget. That night, Rin didn't sleep. Zaya watched him sit near the fire, lost in thought, staring at the flames like they whispered secrets. At last, she asked, you were a soldier. He didn't answer at first. Then finally, I was more than a soldier. He pulled something from his pocket. A small badge, old, rusted. It had Earth's lost flag engraved on it. A broken circle with a rising flame inside. I was part of Project Echo. Zaya had never heard of it. Rin saw her confusion and explained. Before the war, Earth wanted peace. Real peace. Not with weapons. With communication. Project Echo was designed to use emotion-based sound, human voice, music, to connect with other species. Deep-level understanding. Not just translation. True empathy, Zaya whispered. But it didn't work. Rin looked away. Worked too well. He tossed a stick into the fire. We made contact with something, or someone, and they didn't want peace. Zaya felt her skin prickle. What happened? We sang to the stars, Rin said. And something answered. Something from the dark between galaxies. He looked at her. That's when the war started. Silence filled the shelter. Only the wind outside spoke now. Zaya finally asked. So why are you here? Why did you come to this dead world? Rin said nothing for a long moment. Then he stood and walked to his pack. He pulled out a small broken device, a personal beacon. He placed it in her hands. The screen blinked softly. Zaya read the last words on it. One survivor detected signal origin. Emotional burst. Mother-child, Rin said quietly. I was tracking old frequencies, hoping to find survivors. Hoping. Maybe Project Echo left something behind. Instead, I found you. Zaya looked up at him, eyes full of questions. Rin simply said, your song woke something. Not just the monster. Me. I thought I was dead inside, but your song. He stopped. Outside, the wind stopped for one long second. Then a new sound, a hum, deep, mechanical. Not from nature. Zaya stood, alarmed. Rin moved to the door again. He looked through a small crack, and whispered, that's not a creature. He turned to her, his voice firm. It's a ship. Asterisk. The sound outside grew louder. It was not the sound of footsteps. Not the scream of wind. It was something cold, ancient. Humming through the snow, Rin pressed his hand against the frozen wall of the shelter. Engines, he said quietly. Buried, old tech. Zaya stood close, holding Luma tight. A ship, Rin nodded. Deep under the ice, not flying, sleeping. Zaya stared at him. How do you know? Rin didn't answer with words. He took out a small disc from his jacket, placed it on the ground, and tapped a code into it. A soft blue map blinked to life, projecting lines under their feet. A scan of the land, shapes hidden below, beneath the snow, beneath the rock. Something huge was buried, a ship half destroyed, still leaking energy, and something else. A weak signal, pulsing slowly. Like a heartbeat. That's what your song touched, Rin said. It's broadcasting again now. Zaya's voice shook. What kind of ship is it? Rin didn't look at her. Instead, he said, we're going to find out. Later that day, the storm finally rested. For a few hours, the world outside turned into silence. The air was thin. The snow was heavy. But the path was clear. Rin wore his armor again. Zaya, wrapped in extra thermal layers from Rin's pack, carried Luma on her chest, warm and quiet. They followed the signal. Step by step. They moved across the white desert, walking toward something older than both of them. After an hour of walking, they reached a sharp ridge. Beyond it, a valley of ice. At the center, a black shape, barely visible under layers of snow. The crashed ship. It had no name, no flag, only scars. Zaya felt her breath shake. The ship was huge. Part of it melted into the ground. Part of it still standing like a broken blade. This doesn't look like one of yours, she whispered. Rin agreed. It's not human, but I've seen this before. During the war, he pulled out a scanner. Interior atmosphere is unstable. Cold, but not toxic. Zaya looked down at Luma. She's too weak to go inside. Rin nodded. Stay here. Take this. He handed her a small device. If I don't come out in 30 minutes, go. Find shelter. Follow the ridge east. Zaya touched his arm before he left. Don't go alone again, she said. For the first time, Rin smiled just a little. I never do, he replied, and disappeared into the dark. Inside the ship, it was like walking through a frozen grave. The halls were wide, made of black metal and glass veins. Strange writing glowed faintly along the walls. Ice had covered much of the floor. Some doors were sealed, others broken open like someone had escaped in a hurry. Rin moved carefully, his gun ready. As he passed an open chamber, he stopped. Inside were tall metal tubes, cryopods, all empty. Except one. A single pod flickered with life. Inside a body, not human. Not alien like Zaya. Something else. Its eyes were open, watching him. Rin slowly backed away. Then, his scanner beeped signal. Found, source, lower deck. Status, active. He followed the sound down a narrow stairway, into a chamber that felt warm, not from heat, but from memory. The walls here were covered in speakers, broken, old, but still humming, and in the center, floating just above the floor, a small glowing orb, pulsing. Rin stared. "I know you," he whispered. It was an echo core, the final piece of Project Echo, a living signal processor, a music-based translator, half machine, half organic. The thing humans built to sing across stars. It spoke in a voice not its own, a soft female voice, layered with echoes. "Hello again, Rin." Rin stepped closer. "You're still alive." "Not alive, not dead, waiting." Rin asked, "Why did you call me here?" "Not you, her, the child." Rin froze. The baby carries harmonic memory. A perfect pattern, the same we heard once. From Earth's last song. Rin felt his chest tighten. The child is a key, Rin, to unlock what we could not. Then, the orb dimmed, and a new sound echoed through the ship. Footsteps. Not his. Not alone. He turned, fast. From the shadows, something crawled down the wall. Not human. Not asleep anymore. The scream echoed down the broken hallway. Not a human scream. Not even a living one. It was metal grinding against bone. Hunger wrapped in sound. Rin ran. The creature chased him through the icy ship, like a shadow with claws. It was fast, crawling, on walls, sliding through vents, impossible to track. But Rin had the echo core now, small, warm, glowing in his hand. And somehow, it pulsed to his heartbeat. He ducked into a broken room, sealed the door with his weapons, heatlock, and backed away. The walls here were covered in black glass. A dead control room. The creature slammed into the door once, then vanished. Silence again. Rin knelt down, breathing hard. "You still with me?" he whispered to the orb. The echo core replied, its voice soft like falling snow. "I hear your fear." "Good. That means I'm still alive. Not just fear. You remember her." Rin blinked. "Who?" "The one you lost." The orb's light flickered, and suddenly, the walls around him changed. Not physically, but in his mind. He was no longer in a broken ship. He was back, on Earth, a memory, a garden burned by war, a child's laughter, fading in smoke, a woman's voice singing a lullaby. Rin fell to his knees. "No, stop, that's not you. Carry loss like a scar," the echo said gently. "But she carries hope." The baby. Images flashed Zaya holding Luma, the child's soft eyes, her voice when she cried. She sings the same pattern. From the day Earth died, Rin stared at the core. What is she? She is not just alien. She is a bridge. A song half-born from two broken worlds. Suddenly, the ship shook. A loud groaning sound. Ice splitting. Weight shifting. The echo dimmed. The ship is sinking. Time is ending. Rin stood fast. He tapped his communicator. "Zaya, come in." Only static. "Zaya." No response. He grabbed the orb, ran to the nearest escape shaft, and climbed up, fast. As he reached the exit hatch, the cold hit him like knives. But something worse waited, not far from the ship. Footprints not his, not hers. Big, deep, clawed dot. And in the snow, a piece of cloth. From Luma's wrap, Zaya was running. Snow blinded her eyes, but she didn't stop. They came without warning. Two of them, same kind as the one Rin saw. Fast, silent. They didn't attack to kill. They watched. Followed. She had taken the ridge path east. Just like Rin said, Luma was still asleep on her chest, but warm. Alive. Caia stumbled into a wide opening between sharp rocks, and froze. Up cave. Dark, deep, unnatural. Like the planet itself, had opened a wound. She had no choice. The creatures were behind her. She ran inside. The cold changed inside the cave. It wasn't empty. It was singing. Not loud, not words, but echoes. The cave sang back every sound she made. Her breath, her footsteps, her heartbeat. It remembered sound. Zaya found a small space near a wall. Placed Luma down gently, and listened. The echoes formed. Melodies, familiar ones. Her own lullaby. Sung back to her. "Is someone here?" she whispered, and the wall glowed. Back, on the surface, Rin tracked the footprints to the cave. He moved fast, weapon ready. Echo core tucked into his jacket. When he entered, he stopped dead. His breath made music. Every step triggered a soft hum. This cave is alive, he whispered. The core pulsed, not alive. Listening. Built by the ones who first heard your voice. Who? Rin asked. But the echo didn't answer. He went deeper, until he saw her. Cai, yeah. Standing by a glowing wall. Luma lying next to her, wrapped in warmth from the stone itself. She looked up at Rin. I don't understand. The cave. It sings. Rin stepped forward, his voice serious. This place isn't just rock. It's tech. Old, ancient. It records emotion, memory, like an instrument. Zaya touched the wall. Why does it know my voice? The echo replied for them both. Because she remembers the first voice. The first mother. From Earth. The sound that never died. Zaya's eyes filled with tears. You mean, she is not just alien. She carries Earth's last song. And the future's first. The cave pulsed softly. Then, a warning beep from the echo core. They are coming. More creatures. Closer. Not just to now. Rin looked at Zaya. Stay behind. Me. No matter what. The cave was breathing. Not like lungs. But like memory. Every sound echoed. Every emotion lit the walls with soft firelight. Zaya stood with her back against the glowing stone, holding Luma close. The baby stirred, eyes blinking open. Her skin, once pale, now glowed faintly, like she had absorbed the cave's warmth. Rin stood, in front of them, his weapon raised. The echo core floated beside him, pulsing red. 3 life forms, approaching fast. Weapons unknown. Intention, hostile. The hum of the cave grew louder. Tension vibrated in the air. Zadza whispered. They followed us again. Rin didn't turn his head. No. This time, they're not just hunting. Zaya's voice shook. Then what? Rin, eyes narrowed. They're here to silence the song. Forever. The first creature slid into the cave like a shadow wrapped in wire. It had too many joints. Its limbs bent the wrong way. Its eyes glowed with cold blue fire. Behind it, 2 more, followed. No growls. No screeches. Just the sound of their claws tapping the stone. Like they didn't kill with rage. They killed with purpose. Rin aimed. Fired. The blast lit up the cave. 1 creature dodged. The other 2 rushed forward. Rin spun. Shielded Zaya, and fired again. This time hitting 1 square in the chest. It didn't fall. It screamed in a tone that wasn't sound. It was thought. A crushing wave of pressure. Zaya dropped to her knees, covering Luma. Then the walls of the cave reacted. Not with violence, with song. The echo returned, soft, pure, almost sad. And Luma answered. The baby's voice rose, not crying, not speaking, but matching the tone. High, trembling, perfect. The cave lit up in waves of gold. The creatures froze, then shook, then screamed again, but not in power. In pain. Zaya didn't understand it, but her instincts knew. The sound that lived in her daughter was more than voice. It was memory, born from pain and hope. Something passed down not by blood, but by grief and love. She began to hum. At first, softly. Sleep now, little one. Light will come with dawn. The echo core spun faster. It hovered between Zaya and Rin, translating every note, every vibration, resonance increasing, emotional frequency rising, energy signature unlocked. Rin looked down. The creature closest to them, the one that had screamed first, began to crack. Tiny lines of light broke through its black skin. The song was undoing it. Zaya stepped forward. Her voice grew stronger. Storms may scream and time may fall, but hearts remember all. The cave exploded with light. The creatures began to break, not in pieces, but like illusions collapsing. One by one they fell, shrieking into nothing. Not dead, unmade, then silence, not empty. Sacred. Rin dropped to 1 knee, breathing heavy. Zai held Luma close, tears in her eyes, voice trembling. I don't know how I knew that song, she said. The echo core floated between them. You didn't. She did. You just followed her. Luma reached out toward the core. The orb dimmed, then settled quietly in her tiny hands. The cave reacted once more, this time opening a hidden path. Stone walls slid back, revealing a circular chamber ahead. Inside, a long-dead console, a view screen, and a signal light. Still blinking, still waiting. Rin stepped forward and wiped the frost from the console. It came alive. A single word glowed. On screen, a waiting harmonic key. The echo core floated up from Luma's hand. It shone brighter than ever, and sang a single note. The console responded. A soft beep, then another. A transmission unlocked a recorded message, in an old human voice. If you're hearing this, it means the last light made it through the storm. You are not alone. Rin sat slowly on the cold stone floor. Zai. Yeah whispered, what does this mean? He looked up at her, voice quiet. It means Earth's not dead, it was just sleeping. The firelight on the cave walls flickered, and from deep above, outside the cave, a new sound. Engines descending. A ship. Someone was coming. The sound of the ship filled the frozen sky. It was not loud, it was not fast, but it was certain, a sound that did not belong to snow or silence. Zaya stepped out of the cave, holding Luma close to her chest. Behind her, Rin stood still, his face turned toward the sky. Through the thinning clouds, the ship came into view, not like the warships of old. This one was clean, bright silver, shaped like a rising flame. No weapons on its wings, no fear in its sound, only return. Took one step forward, then another. His voice was low. They finally heard us. The ship landed gently on the snow. A platform extended. No soldiers came out. No machines. Only one woman. Human. Real. Wrapped in a long blue coat with golden lines. Her eyes were brown, tired, but kind. She stepped forward, looking first at the child, then at Rin, then at Zai. Yeah. She spoke softly. Her name is Luma. Zaya blinked. Yes. The woman nodded. We received her signal. Not from satellites. Not from systems. From the old grid. The harmonic wave. From Earth's last memory vault. Rin whispered. I thought the vault was destroyed. The woman looked at him closely. It was. But some things survive when they're sung, not stored. Zaya stepped closer, confused. What do you mean? She asked. The woman smiled gently. Is a mirror. A child born not just of your world, but of Earth's grief. Her song carries both bloodlines. Yours and ours. She's not just a child, she's the answer. Rin finally spoke, his voice heavier now. You're the colony from Arc 7. She nodded. The last seed ship. We were waiting. We only returned when the sky sang again. She looked at the cave behind them. And you kept the core safe. I didn't think any soldier survived. Rin's face changed. Not proud, not broken, just honest. I didn't survive, he said. Not all of me. Zaya looked at him. He removed one glove. Not just a cybernetic hand. His entire arm now glowed faintly under the skin. The woman explained quietly. Project Echo didn't just use voice. It changed those who listened too long. Rin didn't just carry the signal. He became part of it. Zaya gasped. You're part machine. Rin turned to her. Gentle. No, I'm part memory. The ship's lights began to blink. A signal was sent. Luma. Cleared for genetic harmonic sync. Human core verified. Zaya held her tighter. What does that mean? The woman smiled. It means she belongs to both worlds. She's the first key to a new bridge. Human, but more, something kinder, something whole. Rin turned to Zaya. They will take her, he said softly. Train her, protect her. Zaya's eyes filled. And me. The woman stepped forward. You're not a passenger. You're her mother. The first one to sing again. You will help raise the next generation of listeners. Zaya looked down at Luma. The baby opened her eyes and smiled. For the first time, she cooed a soft sound that echoed gently in the wind. The sky answered with sunlight. Later, inside the ship, Zaya watched through the window as the Serenine shrank behind them. The planet that was supposed to be her grave had become a cradle. Beside her, Rin stood at the edge of the observation deck, watching the stars. She walked up to him. You could stay, she said. He shook his head. I'm not meant to be with them. I'm not fully here anymore. Zaya touched his hand. Then where will you go? Rin smiled faintly. I'll follow the echoes. There may be other caves. Other lost songs. I'll listen for them. He turned, walked to the exit ramp. The ship hadn't taken off yet. Before he left, he said one last thing. Thank you for singing. Then he stepped out into the snow and was gone. Final scene. Luma, now sleeping in her mother's arms, hummed softly. A new song. Not Earth's. Not Izzy. RRAN. Something else. Something that echoed across space and was finally heard. Humanity hadn't just returned. It had been rewritten. And it began with a lullaby in the snow.